Good evening and welcome out everyone to tonight's Tackle Trading Onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank with Tackle Trading. I'll be taking you through the website a little bit here tonight, showing you around, let you know what we're doing, when we're doing it, where you can find it, to have a better idea of how to use your tackle trading. Before we dive right into business, I would just like to give everyone a reminder that here, just shortly after we're done at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Coach Matt will be doing a Swing Trading 101 webinar right here on our YouTube channel. Definitely going to be very informative. And if I know Matt, probably a heck of a lot of fun. So I would definitely, if you have a little time, pop in, say hello. If not, well, it's on YouTube. You can watch it when you are ready, but definitely worth checking out. With that said, let's dive right into tackle trading here. And to me, tackle trading is really just a bunch of traders that have come together to help each other out, to share ideas, to share knowledge, to share, the joys and sometimes frustrations of trading the markets. But when I'm explaining it to people, I like to break it into three areas. I break it into things that you do on your own. That's going to be stuff like courses, blogs, some of the tools available that we have in our trade center. Then things that you do with others. That's our live content, right? And then lastly, our weekend reports or our scouting reports. And so that's going to be kind of the angle that we come at it here this evening, starting with that first bucket, if you will, and that's going to be the things that you can do on your own. And for me, at least, courses probably the first thing that came to my mind for that. We do have several courses available to all of our pro members, including our 7-step guide to trading. This is a relatively short course that'll kind of take you through the tackle trading way, I guess, if you will. While no two traders are 100% the same, right? And that's good and to be expected. Here at Tackle Trading, I think we do share, a common foundation. From taking that top-down approach, starting at the top of the market, choosing strategies to match that situation or our read of the situation, finding and analyzing our potential trade candidates. We're definitely big watch list traders around here, kind of identifying if this, then type of way of trading. Of course, we want to plan the trade. We have to manage it, place it, journal it. So this will kind of take you through kind of what that process looks like a little bit. If you're a newer trader, it'll probably be very, very helpful because you probably don't have a particularly good routine down yet. If you're a newer trader, if you're anything like me, at least, that was definitely a challenge. If you're a veteran trader, I'm sure you've already got a pretty good routine down, but maybe there's a few things that you can still learn in there. I would hope. We have an introduction to technical analysis. As traders, charts matter and they matter a lot, right? And that's going to be true whether you're day trading, swing trading, trading cryptos, right? Doing cash flow plays, whatever it is, we're going to be using technical analysis in shaping our decisions of when we're doing things, where we're setting our targets, where we're setting and moving our stop as the trade develops. Nobody's, at least as far as I know, no one's ever been 100% when it comes to chart reading. I think we all strive to do so, but there's definitely going to be something you can learn, whether you're a new trader, an old trader, or anything in between. Definitely going to be something that you can learn in that technical analysis course. Our Options 101 course will introduce you to kind of what's going on when you buy or sell that option contract, right? There's a lot of moving parts with an option contract, and the better we understand, how does volatility impact that contract? How do we check liquidity, right? How does time decay factor in? The more we understand those things, I think the easier it's going to be as we're getting into whatever strategies it is that we're trading. So if you're looking to trade options, or a newer intermediate option trader, definitely would be something worth checking out. If you've ever been interested in learning more about either the futures or the Forex markets, but not really known exactly where to start, these introduction courses can be a great place to kind of see what those markets are about, kind of what do you need to be looking for there? What does that leverage look like? What's some of the lingo that you're going to hear in those markets? Can be a great place to start. I've talked to traders over the years that just felt like futures was too big for them. And so they didn't really think about exploring it. Now, if you don't like to trade futures or Forex, that's fine. That's your business. And as traders, we have lots of options, right? We don't have to trade things we don't want to trade, but I never want it to be because you don't feel like you can. And so it can be a great place to start if you've ever had interest in learning more about either or both of those markets. No matter what you're trading, what product, what time frame, what strategies, we do need to have clearly defined rules and systems in place governing our actions. And I think everyone at face value at least agrees with that. It's one thing to say it, another thing to do it, though. And for most traders, it's a little bit of a process. The system development course is really designed to train you to think about your trading from a system builder's perspective. It is a fantastic course. I would definitely, no matter where you are and what you like to trade, I would definitely make some time, go through that system development course. It'll very, very much be worth the time investment. We do have a handful of premium systems here as well. And while we're not going to go too crazy on them, just to let you know what they are, it's a one-time purchase. The system is yours for life. Once a month, we get together with members of that team in a mastermind group to discuss that system within the current market, climate. The Tackle 25 is a covered call-based system on a select group of stocks that we put together each year with the intent to cash flow through selling covered calls. Our STEP system is our swing trading approach to the market, just standing for stop loss, target, entry, and position size. Cash flow condors is another cash flow system, this time selling credit spreads on the Russell 2000. And the bear market survival guide is kind of exactly what it sounds like, protecting our long-term portfolio from bearish turns in the market and then navigating those turns when they happen. If you would like any more information on any of those systems, you can head on over to the store tab. There's information in there. You can shoot us an email to team@tackletrading.com. We'd be happy to get you a little bit more information as well. Not everything's going to have to be a course. We do blog content regularly. These are going to be, short reads, 5-minute type of reads, just additional ways that we can share ideas with members of our team, whether it's more charting and tales of technician, taking concepts from the ground up with Coach Greg over in the Rookie Corner, more option talk with Coach Tyler in the Option Theory blog, hearing from Coach M and our awesome female traders in the Women in Trading blog. Definitely worth incorporating into your weekly routine. Those blogs are a great way to share ideas with members of our community. If you head over into the Trade Center, this is where you're going to find, number one, our event calendar. And we're going to circle back to that before we're done here. So we'll leave that, a link to our trading journals and our link to our trading glossary, as well as a link to the Tackle Trading Playbook. This is where we're going to have all of our strategies and our rules for those strategies. We're going to break our playbook down into 3 core areas based off of the option Greeks, Delta, Theta, and Vega. Our Delta playbook is directional, right? Delta is equal to directional, if you will. So that's going to be things like buying stock, buying call or put options, doing debit spreads, basically movement-based trades. I think the stock is going to go from 50 to 55. How can I take advantage of that, right? Then we're going to have our Theta playbook. That's where we're selling the options and bringing in that premium. That's what's so awesome about options, is we have the availability to do that. That's going to be things like selling covered calls on shares that we own, selling naked puts to get into positions, doing credit spreads, doing iron condors, and the like. And then lastly, the Vega or the volatility playbook. This is where we're playing the volatility. And what always comes to my mind for volatility plays is earnings season, where company XYZ has a good history of moving a lot on earnings, but there's no way I can know if it's going to move up or down a lot. But I do believe that it probably will move one way or the other, and would like to construct a trade that profits as long as it does make a big move in either direction, right? And those type of strategies are what you're going to find in the Vega playbook. In all of these, you will find a video going over, what the strategy is, why we would choose the strategy, our rules for the strategy. We'll be putting in an example on the Thinkorswim platform. If you're using that platform and need some help on the order entry side of things, there's a downloadable PDF, so you have easy access to the rules for that strategy. You'll notice that everything's going to have something between a 0 and a plus or a -2, and that's just, we want to match the strategy to the situation or to our read of the situation, right? And so if you kind of think about, 0 being completely neutral, plus or -1 slightly bullish or slightly bearish, 2 or -2 being bullish or bearish, and then 3 or -3 being very bearish or very bullish, or I guess I should have said that the other way around. So we want to match the strategy to the situation. If you think, company XYZ is going to have a slow, grindy trend over the next quarter, you probably don't want to be doing a super aggressive trade, right? You're probably going to be finding something a little bit more on the moderate side. So that's kind of where we see these strategies along that spectrum. And it is important to make sure that we do line up our strategy to our view of the situation, at least. If you go directly into the trade center, this will bring you to kind of a what's up at Tackle Trading page, what's our next show, our most recent post, latest report, most recent tweet, a little watch list that you can build out for yourself, either a replay or a live showing of one of our YouTube webinars, a little mini calendar for the next, upcoming, day or two, as far as what's going on, where you left off in any of the courses that you might be taking. So you don't have to dig around. You can pick right back up where you left off. So really just kind of a what's up at Tackle Trading page. There are going to be a variety of other trading tools in here as well. The Market Skyline will bring you to a page that's got all of the big stuff, right? The indexes, the S&P, the Dow, the RUT, the NASDAQ, Bitcoin, the commodities, gold, silver, crude, copper, etc. The sector spider ETF, so we can kind of track, the sector performance, sector versus sector, if you will. So just kind of all of these things are really important as we're thinking about that top-down approach and working through that daily routine in the market. You don't have to do them right here at Tackle Trading, but you do need to be looking at these things if you're, running a good, healthy daily routine. So just getting them all in one spot. There is a link to the FinViz heat map page here as well. So if we want to get that quick visual, hey, what did today look like? Well, it was a sea of red in the market today, right? Quite a bit of selling. And this really, kind of hammers that point home, right? A few things stood out. Some of those healthcare stocks kind of stood out a little bit, but for the most part, it was a whole lot of red. So just a quick visual as far as, what areas of the market, what industries or sectors may have stood out. You'll find a news aggregator in here that's just going to go through several of the bigger name financial sites. You'll see Market Watch, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, the Times is probably in here somewhere, down here as well. Just going to go through the different, financial websites and kind of grab those headlines and kind of get them all in one place so I can easily kind of scroll through and, hey, that's interesting, I'll check it out, right? That's not interesting, I'll just breeze right by it. I mean, really, just to save you some time, just to save us some clicks, we don't have to do quite so much bouncing around as we're checking the day-to-day news. A link to the economic calendar so we know what's on the docket for today and for the week. Another link to our report, which again, you'll find them up here, and we'll talk about them in a little more detail here shortly. A link to our another trading journals page. If you come into the trading journals here, what this will do is bring you to the tutorial of how to use them. You can get them downloaded in the drop down itself. But if you need a little bit of help kind of getting comfortable using them, they are going to be in spreadsheet format. And some people pick them up really quick, and other people are like me and kind of struggle a little bit with spreadsheets. Really helpful to kind of have a walkthrough in here as well. You'll find a compounding gain calculator, a chart if you ever need one, another link to our glossary, as well as our search function, which you'll also find our search function up here. You'll find a link to our friends over at tradingjustice.com. Each week, the Coach Matt, Tim, and Mark put out the Trading Justice podcast. It's available right over at tradingjustice.com or on any of your favorite podcast providers. Definitely a really informative and fun listen, and very much worth incorporating into your weekly routine in my mind. There's also a great monthly newsletter that they do over at Trading Justice that's very, very good and very, I would definitely encourage you to check that out. This link right here will take you directly to Trading Justice. Of course, it's just tradingjustice.com for the TJ podcast, as well as the Trading Justice monthly newsletter. The Huddle is a much shorter podcast. This is one that we'll do at the end of the day, just talking about the top 5 stories of the day, real quick, to the point, just to get you caught up. If you weren't around the market during the day, you come home from work and see what you saw. Well, what was moving the market? What were the top stories moving the market today? Again, you can catch the Huddle on any of your favorite providers, but you can listen to it directly here on the Huddle. And again, that link is just right here on the menu side of things on Tackle Trading. So those are some of the things that you can do on your own here at Tackle Trading. incorporate them into your daily routine or to your learning routine. And don't be afraid to kind of build out your own tackle trading. Let's kind of move on a little bit to the things that you can do with others, otherwise known as the schedule, right? So let's start with the day-to-day schedule. Every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, we're going to get together here at Tackle Trading in our Traders Lounge. We'll get together for an hour, and we really will just hang out with our team and answer their questions, right? Whether that's a question on a management technique, a particular strategy, maybe you've got a watch list candidate, you found a great, bullish breakout you want to share and get some other eyes on. Maybe you're struggling with, adding portfolio insurance or portfolio design or daily routine, or who knows. The only thing I know for sure is all of us are going to have questions from time to time. And we do need to have a place where we can get those answered. And that's really what our Traders Lounge is designed for. If the market's open, you can expect the lounge is going to be open 11 a.m. Eastern, effectively Monday through Friday, but more accurately every market day. So a few holidays will kind of mess that up a little bit. We're not going to regularly record the Traders Lounge, but we will regularly record little snippets and get them posted in here that can be a little bit beneficial to our team, and not just today and maybe not just this week, but maybe longer term. If your schedule is such that you need some help, but you're at work, at 11, every market day, let us know. Send us an email and say, hey guys, could you go over, this? It's not a huge deal for us to cut a recording and get it posted in here for you. We're happy to do our best to accommodate everybody in our community. So don't be shy if that is you, and just know you're always welcome. And there's no questions too basic. There's no questions too advanced. We do have a lot of different traders here at Tackle Trading, which is definitely one of our biggest strengths. Don't let it intimidate you. You're always welcome in that Traders Lounge. Shortly after the Traders Lounge, we're going to hop over to our YouTube channel at 12:30 Eastern, where we will do the Tackle Trading halftime report, live looking at the market, talk about what's going on in the market today, how is it impacting our charts, stocks in the news, do our top-down analysis, look at the indexes, talk about the major products in the market, the different sectors, things of that nature, to go through that daily routine. That's live on YouTube at 12:30 p.m. Eastern each market day. Love to see you over there as well. So between our lounge here at Tackle Trading and then our YouTube show, here on our YouTube channel, we'll be working through the markets with our team live each and every trading day. Then we're going to have our evening content. Our coaches show we do on Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We're a couple of days into the trading week, right? It's now Tuesday night. We can talk about, what's going on in the market. Is any particular area standing out from a technical point of view, whether that's, bullish or bearish? What are the opportunities looking in the market? It also gives us a great opportunity to take one of the many, many topics that we can discuss when it comes to trading, right? There's a lot of things we can talk about, whether it's, strategies, right? Buying calls, doing bull calls, whether it's indicators, using the RSI, using, stochastic moving averages, whether it's particular patterns, trading bull flags, trading bear breakdowns, portfolio design, portfolio insurance. I mean, that's just some of the bigger ones, but there's a lot that we can talk about in the market, right? And I think everyone would agree with that. What the Coaches Show allows us to do is take one of those topics that's really, has a place in the market right now and have a good in-depth discussion on it. I would certainly consider the Coaches Show our flagship show, not personally, at least at Tackle Trading. It's live on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It is recorded and archived. So while we do love to have you live, we also understand schedules are schedules. So you can catch it at a much more convenient time. You can go back and watch previous episodes of subjects that interest you. I would certainly encourage you, though, to make some time in your week to go, catch that Coaches Show. I think you'll find it a very, very fun and informative experience. On Thursday nights, once again at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do our Cash Flow Club. That's going to be much more narrowly focused on building and managing those cash flow strategies. So the covered calls, the credit spreads, the naked puts, the iron condors, things like that, right? Both building and managing those type of trades. So it'll be a little bit more narrowly focused than the Coaches Show. A great place if you're just learning cash flow. Great place if you're an experienced cash flow trader. That's the Cash Flow Club, Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Monday nights at 7 Eastern here on YouTube, I do this onboarding webinar No two are tremendously different from one another, really just designed to, walk people who are new to tackle trading or maybe checking us out for the first time to, kind of help them get to know us a little bit, what we have to offer, what we're all about. You're always welcome if you feel like it would be helpful. It is Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to hop over into our events calendar as we talk about a couple of our other shows. On Wednesday nights, over on our YouTube channel at 7 Eastern, we do our Trade Masters webinar where we bring a few different trade ideas. A couple of coaches will each bring some trade ideas. We'll bounce them around back and forth with one another, with members of the team. And really, it's just it's a fun little competition. But really, what it is, it's a midweek. By the time you're in the middle of the week, you might need to update your watch list, right? We might need some new trade ideas. So it's a great way to be able to talk through and share those ideas with members of our team. That's 7 Eastern right here on our YouTube channel each Wednesday night for our Trade Masters webinar. And then shortly after that, we're going to head back over here to Tackle Trading into our Wednesday night lounge at 8:30 Eastern. We'll answer in more depth any questions that you may have on any of the trade ideas we discussed in our Trade Masters webinar, but we're also open to really any other questions that you might have. So again, maybe you can't join the daily Traders Lounge at 11 Eastern for scheduling concerns, but maybe you can jump into that Wednesday night one and get the help that maybe you're looking for. So while we will certainly be talking about some of the trade ideas that we talked about in our Trade Masters webinar, we certainly will be talking about other things as well, because again, at the end of the day, we want to be able to answer your questions, whatever they might be. And so that is what our Wednesdays are going to look like. We have a tremendous team of female traders with us here at Tackle Trading. They'll get together about once a month. They did one just this past Friday in their Women in Trading Mastermind group. I'm a dude, so I don't exactly know what happens there, but I do know the team. I have no doubt that they're getting a lot of good work done and having a lot of fun along the way. So if you're a woman in trading, or if you know a woman in trading, I would definitely encourage you to hook up with the awesome gals of Tackle Trading. I have no doubt you will enjoy it. Tends to be towards the end of the month, and about on a monthly basis. We'll make sure that we highlight it and promote it ahead of time, but do keep an eye out for that as well. And then lastly, Coach Mark does a weekend prep course on Sunday nights, typically Sundays. Once in a while, there is a Monday holiday, right? But again, most of the time, the market's opening up on Monday. So on Sunday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, he does his Mind of a Trader weekend prep class. We're a few hours into the futures open based off of kind of what we're seeing, kind of can talk about the game plan going into early this week, answer any questions, get another place where we can answer the questions that our teammates might be having. So that's typically on Sunday nights, again, unless it's some weird Monday holiday, which again, there are a few, but they're certainly the exception and not the rule. It is Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Kind of an overly simplified way to think about it is the lounge is designed for questions, for specifically your questions. The halftime report is really for that daily routine, and the evening shows are really where we can kind of put on the teacher's cap, if you will. And while that certainly is overly simplifying it, there will be bleed over into all of the shows. That might be an easy way to kind of keep them organized as you get to kind of know us and what we're all about. And probably the easiest way to get to any of these shows is just come into this events calendar when your show's about to start, smack it. That'll get you the information to get over to that show, whether the Zoom information, link to YouTube, or whatever it might be. So that's going to be the schedule. Pretty regimented. We're not going to deviate away from that, barring, like I said, weird stuff and holidays, right? So we are going to be pretty consistent in what that weekly schedule is going to look like. Lastly, we have our weekend reports. On Fridays, what we're doing as a team of coaches here is getting together. We're talking markets, we're talking sectors, we're talking commodities, currencies, trade setups, our overall view of the market, all of that fun stuff. And out of that, we call that our scouting report meeting. Out of that meeting comes our weekend reports, the newsletter, stock options, commodity, and Forex reports. We'll get these delivered to the team by Saturday afternoon. So you have plenty of time to get through them before the market opens back up. The Tackle newsletter is really where you always want to start, at least in my opinion. Again, as I said earlier, as we saw in the 7-Step Guide to Trading, we're big on starting at the top of the market and working down. And that's exactly what we're doing here in the newsletter each week. Talk about, hey, what happened in the market this past week, what are we watching out for, all of that fun stuff, kind of give you a kind of recap of the week that was, if you will. Talk about the economic reports coming up this week that might impact the market. Wednesday we've got a Fed meeting that might have an impact on the market, for example. Of course, we'll have a video talking you through all of this stuff so you can kind of see where our head's at. A read of the major indexes, the S&P, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, and the Russell. There are the corresponding ETFs, diamonds, Qs, IWM, and the SPY, that track these indexes if you aren't familiar with them. The Arkham High Low indicator, just to kind of see, what do the internals of the market look like? Are we seeing a lot of stocks putting in new highs or a lot putting in new lows? Right? It's really taking a look at the internals of the market, over 8,000 stocks, so we can get a better idea of the relative strengths of the stocks that make up the marketplace. You'll find the sector rankings and how we've adjusted them each week as well. Every week, we're going to rank the sectors based off of what we're seeing on the stocks that make up those sectors, right? We are going to break them into 3 different areas. We're going to have the growth sectors. That's going to be technology, communications, and discretionary, right? So think your tech stocks, your semiconductor stocks, your social media stocks, your Disneys, your Netflixes, your McDonald's, your Starbucks, your Amazons, things like that. Then you're going to have our cyclical area. That's going to be represented here in yellow. That's going to be the financial sector, the industrial sector, the basic material sector, and the energy sector. And then lastly, here in a plumish color, you're going to have our more defensive areas of the market: healthcare, real estate, staples, utilities, right? So we're going to break those sectors into 3 core areas, and each week we're going to rank them based off of what we're seeing in the sectors as a whole. So as you can kind of see here, it's set up on a football field. It's going to be very, very rare, and because you never say never, I won't say never. But I would not expect that you'll ever see us put an entire sector or anything like that into a plus or a -3. That is just too aggressive. That's not who we are. That certainly isn't who I am by any stretch of the imagination. It's very normal to put an individual stock setup at plus or a -3, an individual trade, but it's very difficult to put an entire sector that aggressive, because that means every single stock in that sector has to basically be doing exactly the same thing, which, can happen. That's right. You never say never, but is probably going to be super, super rare. We're going to rank them, adjust them each week. We'll talk you through that thought process in the video. It will be week to week to week. We'll be talking a lot about it because we do want to be respecting what's going on in the sectors, because that's having a huge impact on the broad market, right? Again, kind of using that 0 to 3. Between the 40s would be neutral with a slight skew, slightly skewed to the bullish or the bearish side. Between the 20 and the 40, going to be, in that slightly bearish to slightly bullish territory. And then, between the goal line and the 20s, that's where we're bullish or bearish. And again, you never say never, but I would not expect to get into plus or -3. We're basing them in these rankings based off of what we're seeing on the stocks that make up the sector spiders, that make up these different sectors. You'll find the sector spiders here. If you're not familiar with these guys, they're ETFs. What they do is they go into the S&P 500 and pull out just the stocks in that area. So, for example, XLF is the financial sector ETF. Go into the S&P 500, pull out just the financial stocks, put those stocks into a portfolio, weight them accordingly. These are built, based off the S&P 500. So because the S&P is weighted, so are these ETFs. And I'm getting a much more clear view of what the sector, financial sector looks like versus, say, the technology sector versus, say, the discretionary sector. Now, with the gap on the open here today, a lot of things have very similar daily candlesticks here today, but certainly some of these trends are looking a little tougher than others, right? Energy's looking a little rougher than technology, at least to my eyes. And so very nice additions to a daily routine. These are ETFs. If you'd like more information about the ETFs, I would suggest going to the ETF provider directly to the source. Their website is www.sectorspdr.com, and you can take a closer look at how they build up those ETFs if you'd like to do so. Recently added our Tackle newsletter rapid fire. It was a lot of fun. We just, as coaches, after we were wrapping up our meeting, just kind of talked about our favorite setups coming into the upcoming week. It was a lot of fun to do for sure. Another friendly reminder to match the strategy to the situation, right? It's easy to forget sometimes, right? And we do want to make sure that we don't. There's going to be some pre-built scanners in here as well. So if any particular area has caught your attention as you're going through your routine and you wanted to take a quick look at the stocks, some stocks within that area, say you like the discretionary sector, this will just bring you to a pre-built scan over here on FinViz. Once again, these are what I call trader-friendly stocks. And all I mean when I say that is they've got great liquidity, so it's very easy to trade shares. They are all optionable. Just because a stock has options, if you're an option trader, you know this, just because it has options doesn't mean they're tradable options. I would say as a whole, most of the things in these scans do have tradable options, but there are certainly some that I wouldn't feel comfortable trading with options personally, at least. Just go double check, but they are going to have options available. If we live in a world where we can trade the strategy, option strategy, or we can trade the shares. But one way or another, if I find something in here I like, I'm going to be able to build a trade on it, whether it's through equity or through options. One way or the other, I'll find a way to build a trade. Just a very easy way for me to kind of quickly browse through some things. So if I'm, looking for, bounce back in the market, I could, see Tractor Supply recently broke out. While I could never build a trade off of this chart, I can see that we recently had a little cup and handle breakout on Tractor Supply, doing perfectly fine until today, which kind of makes sense because that's what the market did. Or maybe a breakout on CarMax, or maybe I'm liking Six Flags. I personally do like Six Flags reversal. So very easy way for me to quickly scroll through some stock charts, see if anything stands out. Again, could I make a trade? Would I make a trade off these tiny charts? No, I couldn't even think about doing that. But I can now go take that chart, go put it in my trading platform, go look at the chart, see if there's something there for me. Just an easy way to go through a lot of charts very, very quickly. And of course, we'll have that built up for all of the different sectors in here. So that's going to be the Tackle newsletter. Definitely, to me, is where you start before you get into any of the reports. And folks are going to be different based off of things they like to trade, right? If you're primarily an option trader, you'll probably catch the option report before the stock report, and that's fine. That's reasonable, right? That's fair. But I think no matter what you're trading, starting at the top of the market is always good practice. And then we're going to have our commodity and forex report, where we can kind of talk about what's going on, in the world of commodities, based off the technicals, fundamentals, and kind of the themes that are moving those markets, the major pairs over in the forex market. Our stock and option report are going to be built fairly similarly to one another. I mean, obviously, they're going to focus on what their names would suggest, right? And so, but the way we're building them, we're going to make sure that our team has some actionable trade setups in areas of the market that they trade each and every week. And nobody cares but me how I'm choosing to trade the Microsoft breakout if it ever occurs, right? I mean, I might want to buy shares. I might want to do a bull put. I might want to do a call option. might want to do it. I mean, who knows, right? I care a lot about the vehicle that I'm going to choose, but nobody else does, right? And so the technicals are going to be equally as important for option trades as stock trades, right? And so things in the stock report might not have that great option liquidity. They might be lower price stocks that just make more sense to work with the equity itself outright. Maybe it's the way the stock moves. Maybe it's just slow ATR and kind of a grinder. There can be a variety of reasons why it might be in the stock report. Over in the options report, the candidates will all not only have options, but at least we as a team here as coaches would feel comfortable trading the options on those candidates. If there's ever something in the stock report that you'd rather trade an option strategy on, go check the options, check the liquidity, see if it's something you're comfortable with. If it is, great. If it's not, no big deal. You can always trade the equity, right? The things that we're going to be talking about a little bit different, right? Over in the stock report, we can talk a lot more about processes and the technical side of things, whereas in the option report, those things are every bit as important, right? But we're going to talk a little bit less about them and a little bit more about strategy selection, right? Why would I choose to go with a bull put here instead of a bull call and things of that nature? So I hope that explains kind of the subtle differences that you'll see in between the two. In all of them, we'll have both a list of bullish trading candidates. Again, we can kind of talk you through a little bit, kind of what we're seeing in the video itself. Definitely going to need to do some updating on some of these things, right? For example, apps here was pushing a breakout on Friday, did gap down with the market here today, but based off of what I'm seeing currently, I would still argue that this is a legitimate breakout candidate if we take out that Friday high. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't, and that is okay. And that'll be up to you. This was more of a momentum play, and I probably need to adjust my philosophy. And again, that's going to be based off of us individually, right? We want to go about it, but we're going to have both bullish and bearish trade candidates. Technically, these are going to be built off technical analysis, primarily from a swing trading perspective, unless we note otherwise. We'll be looking at them from a swing trading point of view. Here's our 6 flags, once again, to kind of show you a couple of tricks that you can use on these built-in charts here. These are the trading view charts. If you're not familiar with them, you're probably not going to change your trading platform, but you might be using these a little bit as you're kind of working through tackle trading. So just a couple of helpful little tips here. If we want more chart, this right here, this is our widget button that'll hide that watch list. So I have more chart to work with. Smack it again, that watch list will come right back to me. If I want to add an indicator or two, just that indicator button right there. Do note that this is not going to save. So if you add, several indicators, that's fine, but do be aware that when you leave the page and come back, they will no longer be there. So I usually just add the ATR personally, but that's just, I guess, a me thing. If I don't need this much, I don't need this big picture of the ATR. I can just hover my mouse over the wall between the volume and the indicator, hold down the left mouse button. I can zoom it up or down as I see fit. So I can get that where I need it to be. If you scroll your mouse up, we'll do this, right? Zoom, scroll it down. We'll zoom it out back out further. If you hold your left mouse button down over in the dollars here, you can scrunch up or scrunch down so you can get these charts set up to where they're visually appealing, right? So where they're visually appealing. I can also, hold the left mouse button down and do this as well. So again, just so I can get the charts kind of the way I want them to look, right? Your trend line tool is going to be in here, this guy right here. So what I found appealing about 6 flags was this symmetrical triangle, personally, that has been forming on it. And unlike a lot of other stocks within the market today, I don't think this has taken out that pattern. And I think, again, you don't have to agree with me. And of course, this is an example and an example of kind of what I'm thinking. I think I could still work with these guys here, right? So your trend line tool will be there. You can either do an actual trend line or you can do, horizontal if applicable, for horizontal support or resistance. This guy right here, really handy tool. This is where we can prep out a long or a short position. So if I'm thinking, okay, I'd be interested in getting into 6 flags, but I got an idea of I want to come in at 43.60. I'm not going to get too specific here. I would like to get my stop loss. I'm just holding the left mouse button down. And I'd like to get it below this low here today with a target in mind up here at $50. And I can see what exactly does this trade look like. For every dollar I'm risking, I have $2.34 potential in profit. Maybe you think, Frank, you're too aggressive. It's not getting to 50, or you're too big of a wimp. It's getting up to 51, right? So we can kind of scroll it. Or Frank, I wouldn't want my stop loss there. I want to get my stop loss down a little bit. lower, so you can make sure the trade is the risk to reward that you are looking for. Of course, most swing traders do ask for a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio on their directional trades, and probably for a good reason. But it saved me a tremendous amount of time over the years. Always like to highlight that one to folks. Again, that's this guy right here. That will be the same for the short side as well. Hopefully that gives you some things. You can change your time frame up here. It's defaulted to a daily chart, but if I wanted to go in and say, look at the hourly chart, see how that's developing, say, oh yeah, you know what, I thought my stop might need to be there, but I kind of like this hourly floor that's been put in. I'd feel comfortable there, right? Or I can go in and look at a longer term time frame. What do these guys look like on the longer term chart, right? So you can change your time frames. So it'll drop down right here. It will be defaulted to the daily. If you're one of those old school bar chart traders, you can change your candlesticks to bars. I know most people these days use candlesticks, but I still know a couple people who prefer bars. And as long as it works for you, fine with me. So just a couple of some of the big things that you can do on these, but you'll be, probably checking them out in our weekly watch list over the Trade Center and things like that. So I always like to share a couple of ideas of some of the big things of how to use these. Again, in the video itself, we're never going to tell you to buy this or sell that, right? That's no one can tell us that as traders. But as traders, if we've got good trade setups, of course we want to share them with one another, right? And we want to kind of share, what we're thinking on these things, so we can talk about them in more detail in the videos that accompany these watch lists as well. Again, whether you're trading stock, options, forex, commodities, whatever it is, we want to make sure you have some actionable ideas each week in the market. Again, you can expect all of these to be delivered to you by Saturday afternoon, so you have time to get through any or all of them before the market opens back up. Don't be afraid to prioritize, right? Don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading, right? If you're a brand new trader, you probably are doing things differently than if you've been trading for 3 years, right? I mean, that's just reality, right? And that's okay, right? Build your own tackle trading and have your own priorities in place. A couple of other things before I let you get out of here today. The Tackle Today email is our daily email. If you like that, just smack Tackle Today. You can sign up for the daily email right here. Just a quick email each and every morning. It will be delivered to your inbox much faster, but you can also read it directly here in the blog format as well, if for whatever reason you would prefer to do so. Our clubhouse is kind of like our own personal social media, a place where Team Tackle can bounce ideas around with one another, share what's going on, share ideas, ask questions, all of that fun stuff. Certainly invite you to join us over in the clubhouse. We are, of course, active on all of the major social media platforms as well, in addition to our live show content that we do on YouTube, whether it's our onboarding webinar, halftime report, Trade Masters webinar, special webinar. We've got a lot of other content over there as well. A lot of how-tos, walkthroughs, what are's, an entire playlist on Thinkorswim and how to use that thing. So certainly, if you're a fan of the YouTube, I imagine you might be. Lots of good content, and they're always good. We're always looking to add more. Over on presence on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Over on Facebook, we have a Team Tackle Facebook group. If you're a Facebook user, definitely worth checking out. If you're a Twitter user, that's my domain, I guess. So certainly invite you to join us over on Twitter. It's a great place to be able to share, trade setups, what's going on here at Tackle Trading, big movers, upcoming earnings, all of that fun stuff. I certainly invite you to join us at any of these platforms that you're using. If you're not using them, I understand. You're never going to get me to use Facebook. And so you probably will never see me on Facebook of any way, shape, or form. But I do use Twitter, and it's a great way for me to be able to connect with the team. And so I invite you to think about it the same way. If you're using the platforms, come join us, come hang out. It's a great way to be able to connect with your team. As I mentioned a couple times, if you ever need anything, drop us a line, team@tackletrading.com. Happy to help you. That's our job. It's not a big deal. Don't hesitate to reach out. There's lots of ways to do it, whether it's sending us an email, hitting me up on Twitter, asking in the Facebook group, asking in the clubhouse, asking in the lounge, right? There's lots of ways to reach out for help if you need it. And that's what we're here for. All of us, coaches and team members alike. We all want to see each other succeed in the market. We're all happy to help each other out. as best we can. And if maybe I can't help you, but maybe I know somebody who can. Right. So, while we can't make each other's trades, we can certainly be here for each other. We can certainly be here to share ideas, bounce around what's working, what's not, all of that fun stuff. And I would encourage you to take part of that. It's a great it's a great community, in my opinion, here at Tackle Trading. I think you will be very happy. If you're new to tackle trading, I certainly welcome you. It's great to have you here. I have no doubt that I'll be seeing you around in a variety of different ways. And so welcome, welcome. And I look forward to getting to know you. If you're just checking us out for the first time and, seeing what we're all about, we do have a standing 15-day trial, a free trial. You can come see what we're doing here on the back end with no pressure, see if it would be a good fit. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this gave you a better idea of what's going on here at Tackle Trading. I'll let you get out of here today, but I do look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the not too distant future in lots of different ways that I might be seeing you. But I thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for those who catch the recording a little bit later. I'll let you go, but thanks again. Welcome to Tackle Trading.